welcome back to Meet the Eatmons Endangered Species podcast. We're
Yes.
your hosts, Curtis and Spring Eatman. And on our podcast, we're really excited to be here today. But what we love to do is inspire, uplift, and spotlight families and individuals that are doing something that's really special in the world. And one thing that we love to do as well is talk a little bit about things that are becoming endangered. Today, the topic is in relationships. On what area?
Yeah, really rekindling that connection and intimacy. Because honestly, like what happens is when a partnership or a relationship usually has been going for a little bit of time, that once fire, that once sparkle you once had can sometimes kind of dwindle. So like, what is the disconnection? You know, we're going to be talking about that here today. Some simple steps that at the end of this, that your fire is going to be on a whole different level. So we're
Yes.
excited. Yeah, for sure.
Right. I love it. So let's get into it.
Yeah. So first topic we're going to talk about today is when was the last time you truly saw your partner?
So what do you mean by that? When you like truly saw
So I'm
your
not talking
partner?
about like, oh, I saw you take out the trash.
Right.
You know, I saw you talk to the kids. I'm talking about like their emotions, their needs, their struggles. Like, when's the last time you truly saw your partner?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that it's very important to make sure that you are consistently seeing the person for who they are.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to see someone in their role in your relationship, right? Like, I see you as the provider, I see you as the father, the husband, all the labels, but then you sometimes don't have the opportunity to be yourself. To
Okay.
be who you are, right? Because you're so many different labels and so many different other things. So I think it's important for, if you're not able to be your vulnerable, your unique self anywhere, it should be able to be with your spouse. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
that's
have to
good.
walk around and just be a black man, a father, an entrepreneur, a leader, a this, a that, all these things. You get to be Curtis with me. And I want to be able to see you and see your vulnerabilities and see your needs and see, your fears and the things that are exciting to you, and really see all of those different things in you. And I think that's the most special place, is when you're able to feel like your partner is that soft pillow that you can come home to, that you can take off all the layers of all of these different versions of yourself and be able to be your true, like, naked, natural, real self.
That's tough though, isn't it? Because how many people truly feel like they can take all their mask off in that sense, as you're just mentioning?
Yeah.
And would you say that has a lot to do with someone feeling safe? Or would you say like what would actually allow someone to feel open enough to come to that level?
Yeah, I definitely feel like probably men probably have the hardest time with this.
I would agree.
I think women, I think we are consistently looking for places to be able to unwind ourselves. A bubble bath, a glass of wine, spending time with ourselves, that pampering, those moments that we get to kind of like, wipe off the makeup and be our own natural version.
Right.
But I think for men, sometimes it's hard for you to be vulnerable and for you to be able to take off even the hat of the provider, the husband, the this and the that, and be able to just be yourself. I don't know, what do you think? I feel like this is probably something better for you to speak to.
Yeah, I would 100% believe to agree with you in regards to men are definitely struggling with this. And so when you do have so many labels as the provider, the one that provides stability, foundation for the household, the one that's not supposed to show so much emotion sometimes, and all these different things, right? So when you have all these labels or what society has labeled you as, then you kind of forget who you are. And so you have to keep re-engaging to the core of you, your core values, your core principles. What makes you laugh? Can you be goofy? Can you still and not lose any of that just because, oh, I'm a CEO, so I cannot no longer be funny anymore
Right,
because I
right,
got to be serious in the workplace. You
right.
know, I'm a father now, so I got to be strict, but I can't have fun with my kid. Like like you can encompass all the things that you truly are in every category that you maybe been labeled in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's the most important for your spouse to be able to see those areas that feel like they're not able to come out. Like those
Mm,
areas, like I always think about your inner child,
yeah.
like that scared place inside of you where they're kind of like trying to hide behind all these masks and all these different things.
Yeah.
I think that's where this comes from. Like, when's the last time you actually saw your partner that you really see the true innermost need in them
Mm,
that they don't even have to speak on, right? Like there's been times where I'll see you and you're looking stressed or something's going on and I'm like, hey, like, come here, let me rub your head, like, let me rub your shoulders, like, what's going on,
mm,
how's your day, like, I know that you have the world on your shoulders, but you have a partner, let me put some of it on my shoulders too, like, let's do this together, you don't have to do this by yourself, I
right.
want you to feel like you can come to me and you can put your burdens together with me, not necessarily that you feel like you're putting them on me, but that we can shoulder them together. And so I think these are the times when your spouse is under extreme stress, pressures, different things like that, that they
That's
need
good.
you to be able to see them and be able to see their needs before they might even be really willing to say it.
That's a mouthful right there, girl.
Really willing
so,
to say it.
so my question for you then is, when is the last time you saw me?
I'd say I think we make a practice of trying to see each other. But I think the times that are the most precious to me are the times like on Sunday afternoons when we're on the couch and
Mm,
you cuddle up and you want to lay on my stomach while you're watching a show or watching something on TV and I'm like rubbing your head and it just feels like this is like a very like vulnerable place that you allow me into, because there's not really a lot of places that you're just gonna like curl up or you know what I mean, so that always
nah,
makes me
that's not,
feel
nah.
really special,
Uh,
like you're allowing me into a intimate space with you. So I think that that's always a space, like when we have our like times when we're cuddling, things like that. I feel like there's been times where I could see stress on you, or there's been something that's been going on that I've been able to see it where I don't think you would have said it.
okay.
And I've been able to, come in and say, babe, what's going on? Like, I want to be your partner right now. And I could see the look on your face when I have said that to you
Mm,
in the past of like, wow, that's great. Like, that you feel that you really do have a partner to share this with, and I know, and I know that I've always had to say when in those moments, like, hey, babe, I know that you want to protect me or you want to be the man and just come through on everything, but you're also a person, and so there's still sometimes when you like, just like you want me to come and like be able to give you my worries, like I want
mm,
you to be able to give that to me as well. And so those spaces where you're able to be the most vulnerable with me, those spaces are so sacred and special to me because as a man and a strong man that you are, it's not something that I know you do freely or easily. So it means something to me when you do.
hmm, okay. And I got one for you.
Yeah.
So, your words of affirmation.
Mhm.
And I saw you differently, because, like, for example, you were washing. I
Mhm.
remember I was like, it was a Sunday. I was like, what are you doing? You're like,
Mhm.
and because usually you don't wash until there's a full load, right?
Yeah.
And there
Mhm.
wasn't a full load. There's a couple of them, and there's a couple different things in the pantry, or the laundry basket.
Mhm.
And I was like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, I'm going to wash so I can get ahead,
Mhm.
all right? So I don't have to wait till it pile up. I was like, huh, I see you. And
Mhm.
like, and what I mean by when I said I see you in that capacity was that I see that you wanted it to get ahead and that you wanted to anticipate your stress level. because you know what happens if you don't do it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I appreciate it. Hope you appreciate me seeing you in that
I
capacity
do. I
too.
always love when you
Yeah.
see me, babe.
And so this example right here we're giving right now, this is real, this is authentic, this is genuine, but also this is something that is truly needed, and it's a system. I think it's very, very important to sit down as you're looking, okay, well, like, how can I apply this to my relationship? Or you're watching this or you're listening. It's like, take 10 minutes and, and just give affirmation, like affirming your partner, your spouse, like of how you see them. And like actually truly listen to them so you can stay present in that capacity and watch what happens to the intimacy, because intimacy is two different levels. Again, I see you in intimacy physically, usually first as a man, right? I'm visual, right? And then I'm physical with touch, and you're more what? Emotional first, right? And then you become physical, right? So we both have to sacrifice what we are innately naturally doing to get what we both want at the end at the same point. So I think that it's very, very important to, if you connect this way, gentlemen, you'll get what you want. I promise you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
I love that saying too, because it reminds me of when we first started dating, and the night, we weren't even dating yet. The night that you started to court me, you sent me a message and you said, I want you to know I see you. And that was something that was like, whoa, no one's ever said that to me before. You have people they'll say like, oh, you're beautiful, or oh, I like you, or whatever. But for you to say the words, I see you, that was like, wow, like, okay, like, it's nice to be seen, like, because everybody wants to feel seen, heard, and understood.
True.
And so
True.
for you to say you saw me was such a beautiful, like, poetic thing. It was amazing.
Still see you, boo. Still see you. I love it. Well, perfect. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is, are you prioritizing your relationship or just managing it?
Yeah. I think a lot of people are managing versus prioritizing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your viewpoints on this first? I'm interested to hear from you.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, life gets hectic. I think it's easy for relationships to slip more into autopilot in that sense. And like you start juggling work, now you got kids, you got responsibilities, now I have to worry about connection. Am I just communicating? Am I connecting? And that kind of connection gets reduced over time. It's almost like a battery hasn't been recharged.
Right.
So if you don't focus on it, then unfortunately it just kind of goes dead. So I think it's important for you guys to kind of take an account of, where is my relationship versus all the other things that I have as a responsibility.
Right.
And like, am I really putting that first? So like, journal. I would, if a challenge would be, take a notepad and literally like journal what you do fully on that day.
Yeah.
Like calendar it out and say, okay, I'm going to go to work. Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to do all this. Did I call my wife, call my spouse today? How many times did I text her?
Right.
How long did we talk?
Yeah.
How much time? Because ultimately we can always say, oh, you know what, you're my priority, but your calendar and where you put your time is truly your priority.
That's so good.
So you're already on your phone, you're already on your computer, and you can look at your search and we can see what you've been putting your time in and what you put your attention to. So again, whatever you put your attention to expands. So if you want this to expand, this intimacy to expand, then a connection to expand, you got to prioritize that on a different level. So
absolutely. It's crazy because I feel like people will have so much stuff that they're just so busy, right?
It's easy to be busy.
And you're right. It's like what you care about, you make time for.
Always.
And so if you want your relationship to grow, it has to be a priority. And it doesn't mean that it's just a priority, but it's the priority. Right? Because sometimes we are prioritizing, but we're prioritizing 15 things.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, it's a priority, but is it really? Like, it's on the list, but it's like do you get around to it or what? And so I think a lot of people are managing their relationship at a certain stopping point. right? It was like the relationship was in a growth phase until we had kids. And now we're just managing from here.
Wow.
And the relationship was in a prioritized phase until we started that business. And now we're just managing from here, right? And so I think when you have big life changes, that's when it's the most important time to like really hunker down and really focus in on, are you prioritizing your relationship and making sure that the changes that are happening in your life are not changing your relationship.
That's so good because it's interesting you say that because I believe that we celebrate like our ages. Like every year we have a birthday, we're going to celebrate that. But we rarely, as a couple, celebrate the stages of life.
Ooh, that's good, baby.
You know, like you just mentioned, like, okay, you know, stages we get married, all right, or stages, we've been on our 10th date or whatever it is, and now you're going to have kids, and then you're going to start going to buying our house, and then you're going to start buying investment properties, and then maybe start a business together or whatever you're going to be doing, right? But the stages that are shifting your dynamic, celebrating those, so then you're able to grow to the next stage. I think that's an important deal to
That's so good. I really agree. So, because a lot of times we do anniversaries for like timeline, but not for the relationship, like what's happening within the relationship. Like, we've been together 30 years, but has it been thriving 30 years?
Oof.
Right? So,
yes, that's a fact.
That's good. All right. So, when was the last time you shared a moment that was just yours?
Oof.
That's a good one. I think that's important. You know, are you sharing moments that are just for the two of you, that are special? That, like, I think I love when we have our time.
Okay.
It's so funny because our kids, we've got 4 of them. There's a lot of our time in our life that gets devoted to them.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's special time that's just for us. And it might be we're just sitting on the couch. But it's like, hey, this is mom and dad time. You guys go figure it out. Like, don't bother us while we are having our time. This is just for us right now, right?
Yeah, there's food and water. You figure it out.
Exactly. You've been fed.
Yes.
You've got, what you need. Like, get out of here. We're
Right.
not talking to you right now. We're dealing with each other.
Yeah.
I always love when we go up to the theater room and you're like, do not knock on this door. Do not come in here. We're having a movie date night in our room, in our own house.
Yeah.
But it's something that's still so special because it's set aside and set apart. And it makes me feel like we're going to Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like, it's so exciting
place
to
on
me.
earth, right?
Right. And we're literally just carving out space with each other that's sacred for just us. And I think a lot of relationships, they do neglect that, finding that time, even if it's just at home. Maybe it's like, oh, we're not doing a full-blown date night. We're going out, babysitter, da-da-da. Like, but maybe you put the kids to bed and then you have that time together, right? Or maybe your kids are big enough that you can tell them, like ours, like, get out of here. Don't even look over here right now. Right? So, but I think that's important. Times that you create your own jokes. You're being silly together.
Yes.
Remember, reminiscing, that kind of stuff. Maybe putting on music and having a dance, whatever. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, it's important to just to have fun.
Yes.
Like I think you said a little bit earlier, being childlike. You're not being childish, but being childlike. And then having that's what the beginning of the relationship's all about, and why so many people always want to revert back to those days. Like remember those days when we first got together, and then we talked to until my phone was shut off, right?
Yeah, till we fall asleep.
Till we fall asleep, and you hang up. No, you hang up. That whole deal that everyone goes through, right? And I just can't get away from you, and then you kind of drift apart.
Yeah.
And then for those that does happen to, like, what do you focus on to bring it back? You got to go back to being a child again, childlike. It's like, man, and reminding yourself of what that felt like, and then making it better now because you already had experience with it the first time. So now if you've done it once, you could do it again.
Exactly.
So I think that's one of the biggest things, that if a couple is drifting apart, just remember what made you like the butterflies in the first place, and try to reenact it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so good, because I think a lot of relationships, like, people literally get addicted to that feeling. That
Yeah.
feeling of like the new relationship, the new person, and the you hang up, no, you hang up, and what's your favorite color, and da 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 da.
Yes.
Like, there's some kind of like crazy dopamine
Oh, by
effects that
far.
just happen
Yeah.
during that stage of a relationship, but you don't realize that that doesn't have to just be in the beginning of the relationship, that you can create that throughout your relationship at all different times.
I agree.
Right? Like, I know it was so funny because we had one of our friends over this week, and you know, she's like, you guys are obsessed with each other. Because we just keep talking over and over and over, and you know, it's like, oh, let me call, let me, she's like, we just left him at the restaurant, we're both going to the same place, but you're calling him on the phone right now. And I was like, oh, is that not normal? I just had something to share. And I think that it's intentionality that creates space for you to continue to have that. But you do have to cultivate it. You know, you have to find time, create space, you know, and find things that are going to create new special moments.
That's big. I don't think it's enough of a focus. So then you don't have a timeline of those memories. So you have nothing to remember your wins. When there's tough times going on, when you're going through the valley, you got to remember when the peaks were at.
Yeah.
You know, so I think when you are creating those memories, that you don't just like you got to appreciate what you did create, and then don't forget about it, and remind each other of how you guys felt in those memories, and that will automatically spark back as well. You know, something that may have drifted apart if you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. So I would say, if you find yourself in this place where you're like, you know, we haven't had any special moments just for us, like, carve out some time in your week and just find space for you to reminisce. Think about, when were we the happiest in our relationship? What were we doing? What were we thinking about? What did you think about me? What did I think about you? Have those conversations and do something new to create a new memory for you to reminisce about later down the line as well.
I like that.
Yeah, special time just
It
together.
is. It is. But ultimately, we get it. You know, I think rekindling, you know, your connection or intimacy isn't easy at all, though.
No.
Especially again if you lost it. So the fact that you're even watching this, you're already one step ahead, which is you're being intentional on increasing that intimacy in the first place.
Yes.
And I think like life pulls us a million ways. Again, we already talked about it with our schedules, and if you have kids, that also plays a part. You know, your responsibilities, maybe to your family, maybe into your job, and many other things. But keeping your relationship number one will ultimately solve everything else. I 100% believe that. And for us, I know that we didn't just want to create this podcast only to give this information. We want to offer other resources too. I know that we're bringing out Royal Alliance coming soon. We're excited about that, to be able to offer a gift to things that helped us, you know, tremendously, you know, and be able to help other couples be able to make sure that their intimacy never drifts. All right, that it stays on fire. So that'll be coming for you guys, and hopefully you can join us on that as well. So in the meantime, keep up with us on the podcast and the different episodes that we're going to have consistently keep coming out. And any closing remarks for you, babe?
No, I think it's just important to find that space for each other. Make sure that you're creating, like, quieting your space to really see each other, and then creating memories consistently throughout your relationship is really important. Anything for you? Last words?
No, I think most importantly, like what you just mentioned, if you keep this number one, everything around you is fixed.
I love it.
If you fix us, everything around you is better. So
I love it. I love it. Well, as we're wrapping up today's episode, we're really excited that you guys are here with us today. And in this ever-changing, crazy world that we have going on, you know, we want to help to keep spotlighting, you know, strong family values, leadership principles, strong relationships, things that are becoming endangered species. And so we encourage you to reach inside of yourself, whatever is inside of you that may be endangered, we want you to reach out, pull it out, allow it to be a bright shining light for the world to see. And just like endangered species, you know, their survival, it's not just possible, but it's very vital to the world, and we want you to know that we want to see that come from you as well. So we're committed to consistently bringing this important, powerful topics to help you to become an endangered species, so that you can be able to offer the world what you have. So join us next time. We'll see you soon.